Hey guys, Crew of Blind Wave, I'm Eric.
I'm Shane.
I'm Aaron.
This is time for week 2 viewer questions of Star Wars Rebels. Da-na-na-na-na.
What was that?
That was the little beginning thing they do at the beginning.
Who?
Like whenever they have a cold open and then it shows Star Wars Rebels and it goes da-na-na-na-na. You guys don't know Star
That sounded
Wars.
better.
Okay.
I like how Shane's like, who?
Hey, us?
All right, Red Brick 777. Who do you guys think is gonna kill Rex and the other clones?
Nobody, because they will survive forever and they will become the Force and awaken.
I really hope they don't die.
Yeah, I don't want them to die, but if
I don't think they'll die
someone's
for a while.
At least not this season.
if somebody's going to kill Rex, I would want it to be Vader.
Me too.
Well, Commander Cody.
No. Rex kills Cody, and
Vader
then
kills
Vader
him.
kills him,
Yeah.
and then Cody kills Vader.
What?
And it's like paper,
Why
rock,
would
scissors.
Vader die?
Paper, rock, scissors. No, but I would rather have Cody be like, he's like a really bad man. He's a bad man
He's a bad
now.
guy.
And then Rex takes him out. And then Vader takes Rex out.
Should he know about Darth Vader, who he is?
Yeah.
He doesn't now, but he will find out. And
but,
he'll
like,
he'll
should-
go, he's gonna go and he's gonna try to talk to Sensum because that's my general. He wouldn't do these things.
You think?
And then Vader kills
That
him.
could be interesting.
That would be a great
that'd be
conversation to
crazy.
watch.
Make myself cry.
All right, let's jump on over to Pedro Acasio.
Ooh, a new Pedro.
New Pedro, yeah.
Okay.
You think that the woman inquisitor
No.
may be the sister of the boy who became friends with Ezra when he entered the Imperial Academy?
The little black kid, right?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
boy was looking for his sister.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh.
that's why her face is covered.
I know
Yeah,
that.
because that's the reason he was there and the reason he didn't leave with Ezra.
Mhm.
And actually now he changed positions to a new location, I think, too.
I think so. Yes.
So we don't know where he went either.
Yeah, but
She's
we
not black.
we've seen shots of her now in the trailer.
Isn't
And
she a...
Marikaru or
No, those are the blind people.
oh
Mirlan.
Miralane?
Something like that.
Miralane.
Luminera, right?
Yeah,
Like what she was.
That
Yes.
species.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like a greenish colored tone skin with
yeah,
like tattoos.
and kind of like Barriss Offee a little bit, but she's not Barriss either.
Mm-mm.
So I think it's a new character, and I don't think that she's related, but it's a good theory. I like the way he's thinking.
Yeah.
Good job, Pedro.
I am interested to see where she is. I feel like she has to be an Inquisitor though, but maybe she'll just show up later.
I'd be interested to learn more about the Inquisitors. We've had those theories about how the
Well-
Inquisitors might be some of those kids that we've seen in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Inquisitor that we met in the first season couldn't be the same kid.
Yeah, he was an older guy.
He was
Yeah.
older. Palpatine could have been doing this for a while. What is that involved into?
From what I read in interviews with Dave Filoni, was we might not find out a lot about these Inquisitors, but we will find out a lot more about last season's Inquisitor. 'Cause- Yeah. And he's also the leader of these Inquisitors.
He was the leader.
He was the leader.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, LEC from the UK.
Oh, gosh.
Why do
I'm
you
just kidding.
Why do you think the destroyer didn't spot Hera? I know she turned her power off, but wasn't she right in front of them? Don't they have viewports, bridge windows? And do you think that they'll have a different Inquisitor each season?
I think it's one of those things you got to suspend your belief on. Because I think they would see it. And plus,
don't-
we have the technology nowadays, you know, even though I guess this is a long time ago, far, far away.
Mm-hmm.
But dust and shit is not going to...
Okay, we have the technology to what? What are you trying to say? Like radar?
Yeah.
Okay, radar only has a certain amount of distance it can cover, right?
Yeah.
The vastness of space. Space around a planet is, by definition,
okay.
way bigger
Wait.
than a planet.
Mhm.
So it can't be that. Now, are you talking about seeing stuff in space? Because we can only chart like less than 10% of our sky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If a asteroid is coming from the direction of the sun, we would have no idea it was there.
Yeah.
So, the Ghost is a very small ship that had all its lights turned off and was against the blackness of space. You're not going to see it without scanners.
Or it might have been against the color of the planet too. That might have.
It could have also done that.
depending
as
on which
well.
way. So it could have been a blending with whatever its background was, mixed with just being a random thing floating out there in space that maybe they just didn't notice. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's very believable that they wouldn't have seen them. And it makes sense why they would see the Star Destroyer because it's
Huge.
It's a mile-long ship,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, or not a mile,
It's a
but
mile, I was gonna say.
it's a very, very long ship.
It's a big ship. I mean, the Millennium Falcons they would have parked on the back of one and.
And they didn't see
Empire.
it.
I don't know. I think it's just a mixture of just how things just happen to work out. I don't think it's too unbelievable that they didn't see
No,
it.
I mean, if anything, if they had actually seen it, they then could have put the scanner to focus on it and then found a life form. Because we know they can scan for life forms.
Mm-hmm. But they probably weren't scanning for life forms.
They weren't scanning
up
for
in
that.
space for randomly, you know?
They just knew that clones were there and that the ship was on the clone tank, right? They didn't know that the ghost was actually there as well.
Yeah. I like this one here from Lego JPL Studios. I understand this is a kid's show, but how could the AT-TE Walker take multiple hits from an AT-AT Walker? In Attack of the Clones, it only took a missile to destroy. In the Clone Wars, the armored assault tank only took a few shots and we destroyed it. Not to mention the AT-AT is much bigger and newer. The AT-TE is way too old for extreme combat. What are your thoughts? Also, I live in Ecuador.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
Did it seem unbelievable that it took a lot of hits from the AT-ATs?
I mean, I definitely noticed it when I was watching. Like, ooh, man, this thing's really taking a beating.
But, I definitely saw it.
I mean, he made a really good point with it taking a direct hit with that rocket in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
But we don't know how many times that thing had been hit already, right?
Maybe, yeah.
I guess.
Like, it could have been hit before.
That sounds like an excuse.
I like the idea of, like, Han Solo's ship is, like, this thing that's kind of put together.
Yeah.
I like the idea that the thing that they, whatever it's called,
the
AT-TE.
that they kind of maybe made some modifications to it or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it very much has.
It's like this put together bucket of bolts that they modified to make it a little better, more durable.
They made it more durable. I could see that. It's also an armored tank, and it can, I think, I don't know if AT-ATs were designed to attack tanks as well. I think they were designed to. First of all, I think they're designed to intimidate, versus be like
they're really big.
Super effective because they're insanely slow. They don't turn well.
I mean, the only times we've really seen them was really on Hoth, right?
Well, we also saw one in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but it just walked.
And the force move indoor.
Yeah, that's all it did. But in Hoth, like, all they really did was fight personnel, really.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any kind of major things to shoot there. And then they took out the shield generator, but after...
Yeah.
Like, getting past a certain point where they could get in range of the shields and all that kind of stuff. So, their lasers might not be that strong, really.
The biggest thing is that the AT-AT has impenetrable armor, except for some reason a neck that never came into the Hoth. Every time I play that in Shadows of the Empire, I gotta spin that thing around, take out its legs. I didn't know I could just go through the neck.
You didn't have
You just want to have to do one shot for a neck.
You didn't have a strong enough laser.
I guess not.
You had to shoot its armor 1,000 times or wrap its feet up.
I guess whenever that one fell in Empire Strikes Back and then they shot it, I guess they did kind of shoot it at the neck and it exploded.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That makes more sense than that they just shot it a couple times after it fell and it blew up.
Yeah.
They shot its neck. The sweet point was more available.
Interesting.
Alrighty, let's jump on over to Nuclear Melon.
Good name.
What's up, guys? What do you like better, the Clone Wars or Rebels? The Clone Wars was amazing, but you knew what the characters' fates were. With Rebels, you don't know what will happen, but it feels more like a kid's show. By the way, I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida. Hello,
Nice.
Florida.
Well, I think you...
I don't know that I feel like Rebels is necessarily kiddier.
I don't know. I mean,
Like,
the show's is in its infancy. Like, the first few seasons of Clone Wars were a little more kiddie.
Yeah.
And as the audience aged, so did the show.
That's the thing.
I think it's going to be the same thing with the show.
Trying to compare the two, if I had to pick the beginning of Clone Wars versus the beginning of Rebels, Rebels all the way. The beginning of Rebels versus the end of Clone Wars, I want to see Clone Wars. I want to see Mortis and Darth Maul and Yoda go into the source of the Force.
Like, the Clone Wars end up telling stories that are very dark and mature, and some of the best stories I've seen in all of Star Wars
and it was just starting to get into some like really deep stuff too. I feel
it made me like Ahsoka. It fleshed out Anakin's character and the relationship with Obi-Wan.
But he makes a very fair point in that you're not ever scared for the characters that you know are going to exist. And
that's
in this
one thing I love
we're scared
about Rebels.
for every character but Vader.
Yeah,
and the Emperor.
But one thing I like about it now is I feel like it's just they're all Star Wars, especially you know what I mean. The way they're connecting them together by putting in Ahsoka and everything else.
See, that's what I'm waiting to see with it. Still,
I look at it more of a sequel series now.
Yeah, with it still being with Filoni, I'm waiting for them to kind of maybe go back and tell a few other stories that maybe they didn't get to tell in Clone Wars with Rebels. So, I mean...
And if they do Vader versus Maul, it'll be the best show I've ever seen.
As of right now, I'm kind of with Eric with that. Beginning of Rebels feels a lot stronger to me than the beginning of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying Rebels a lot more. I think.
And Clone Wars got one, it got better writing as it went, but two, it had more and more assets, meaning that when they make these kind of shows, you don't just get to open up a bank and or an engine like you do in a game and use the engine parts. You have to build everything for that specific show. So when they have a fog dynamic design shader, then they can use that for the rest of the show. But they can't do it until they need it. You know what I'm saying? They can't do more planets because, we have Lothal. Let's write a bunch of stories about Lothal for now. And then once we're able to afford to build more planets, we'll just keep doing that. And then from then on, we can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's also that too.
Yeah. And now we've got the Rebels meeting the Rebels. I think we're going to start getting into a lot more interesting stories instead of...
You mean the clones mean the Rebels?
No, I mean like... The little rebel band actually meeting the rebels,
the Alliance.
Yeah, the Alliance themselves. Yeah. But I think now with that happening, we're going to get a lot more interesting stories instead of just like, well, here's what they're doing on Lothal to get supplies and keep their ship running.
Staying on Lothal the whole damn time.
So
I mean, Clone Wars had just some outstanding moments, though, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Remember when they were in the underwater world of the Mon Calamari?
Mm-hmm.
Just these great creative episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, remember the bad guy, Rick Tambrin or something like that? And the
shark? Yeah.
And they blew his head off?
Yeah, like so many great things. And also like fleshing out Count Dooku a little more.
Yeah.
In the episode, as part of that Savage Opress trilogy, where they tried to assassinate him and he was blind.
And
he's fighting in the dark.
In his pajamas.
His Sith pajamas.
I love that part.
He sleeps with no blanket.
It looks so yeah, he sleeps like a dead man. Like
yeah. But one thing I also like about Clone Wars is how they would have episodes focusing on not the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like the clones, I didn't like some of the political
like
shit.
Ahsoka and the other apprentice. What was her name?
Yeah,
Barris.
Yeah, they had like a zombie episode. They had like a Godzilla episode.
I gotta say, I thought that was one of Clone Wars' weaknesses, is that it didn't have any central storylines.
Also,
we'd have small arcs that lasted 2 to 3 episodes, and then sometimes we would go like chronologically 2 months before that.
Yeah, the timeline on it was really wonky.
I think they only jumped a few times.
No, they jumped a lot, multiple times a season, and I felt like that always made it seem like I wasn't watching a TV show as I was like reading a comic series, sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, there's sometimes like if you want to watch it chronologically, you got to watch like an episode from season 3 and then an episode from season 4 and then one from season 1 to actually be chronological in the timeline itself, not the release date.
Don't get me wrong. Love Clone Wars. Didn't like that. Love Rebels because it doesn't do that.
I think a lot of it was just like they were just writing stories and like, hey, let's tell this story, this story. Well, where's it fall in line? Well, here.
Yep.
So, all right. Lord of Shadows. He has 2 questions. They're both not too bad. One we kind of covered. Do you think Rex knows that Anakin has become Darth Vader?
Nope.
Not yet.
I don't think he does. Not the way he was talking about him.
Mm-mm.
The way he was talking about like a great Jedi and whatnot.
No way.
So.
But then Obi-Wan kind of talked about him like that too.
True, but that was to his son, and I think that him being a Jedi, he viewed him as he was Anakin, and now Anakin's dead.
Yeah.
I think Rex would still view him as he's Anakin, now he's just a bad guy,
Rex is an honest guy. I don't think that he has any secrets, really.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. Obi-Wan has secrets.
Yes, he does. Lord of Shadows also says, what are your opinions of this new Inquisitor, the 5th brother? His voice, his design, and mostly his eyes.
Yeah, we noticed
they blinked sideways,
right? like a lizard.
Yeah.
Lizard man. He looks cool. I like his voice. It's hard for me to get super excited for Inquisitors because I just do not like their weapon.
Yeah.
I just
tell myself they're not as powerful as Vader and
there's that, but even if they just use regular lightsabers, I'd still get like a little more excited. I just think that weapon's lazy.
I mean, it probably is. They probably haven't had the time to do the training.
In terms of animation, kind of. Like, you can just have them just whip them over their head and it spins like crazy. You don't have to spend the time to have Darth Maul doing his awesome flips because you could just have him just stand like this and the damn thing does this.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear you.
It'll make Kanan feel weaker if he keeps losing to that weapon. You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't love that.
Well, and now he knows how to fight it, too. You just put your sabers in between and
Well,
cut.
yeah, true. You can just do that. And you have to have nothing to fear.
Yeah, exactly. Eder Jorge Costa,
Okay.
who's from Brazil, says, why send an Inquisitor now and not send Vader? Is Vader looking for Kenobi? Do you think they want only Kenobi for him represent a potentially greater threat?
I know exactly why when it comes production-wise is that you can't have Vader be the main villain all the time because our characters can't lose all the time, so someone has to lose, and it has to be the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
If you have Vader shaking his fist at the sky every time they drive
off.
off.
A weaker villain.
Then he becomes impotent.
Yeah,
it diminishes Vader a little.
Absolutely. So you have to have Vader.
He shows up
only
once
a
in
couple
while.
times, and also, he needs to win.
And one thing that Filoni even said was, honestly, Vader's got more important things than chasing after this group of 4 or 5 people. Vader's looking for Kenobi. I don't think he's actively looking for him, but I think he has his ear to the ground.
See, I don't know. Because in episode 4, Leia says, years ago, you served my father in the Clone War. She didn't say, a couple years ago, you came out and helped us out with saving some blue-haired Aladdin-like guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because Leia didn't know.
I think that she would know. I mean, Bell Organa's her father. She's in the Imperial Senate. She's
knew about
on
the
a
Clone
diplomatic
Wars and
mission.
stuff. Why would you be like, well, you helped with the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
That's the latest thing you did. Help us again.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see it, but I think that we need a Kenobi movie about his time on Tatooine.
Fighting Darth Maul.
Ewan McGregor needs to come back.
Now, wait. Okay, this is going to be my question.
Yep.
Who would you rather see fight Darth Maul? Vader or Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's already done it.
So, round 2.
Like 2 or 3 times he's already done it.
Okay, well, look, I'd love to see Vader, but if we saw it, it'd be an animation. If we saw it in a movie, it would be Ray Park.
With mechanical legs?
With mechanical legs versus Ewan McGregor.
Dude, that would be the shit.
Yeah.
Especially they brought them two back.
Yeah.
I guess I could get behind that better.
Yeah.
A live action version.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't die, and then he goes and fights Vader.
Yeah.
All right. Ranger Hood. Rex said he trusted his Jedi more times than he could count. Then says, I tried my best to keep that trust. Do you think he is referring to a lie Anakin told him relating to Order 66?
No. I think that he's referring to all the times he actually did trust Anakin.
Yeah.
And that they got separated somehow before the events of Episode 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things that he said that would be against what everyone else was saying. You know, the council said this, or, you know, the command said this. And Anakin's like, no, we're going to do this. And I'm like, all right, you're my word. I'll take your command.
Sir, yes, sir.
He did a good job with it, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Austin Maines, do you think that this series will eventually incorporate Rogue Squadron, or at least Wedge Antilles?
Maybe some Biggs Darklighter. Well, no, Biggs kind of left for the rebellion right at the beginning of episode 4.
Yeah, right before he just left.
So maybe some Wedge, maybe some Rogue Squadron. That would be cool. Now, was there a Rogue Squadron before episode 4?
I don't.
Because they weren't rogues then; they were Red.
Red 5, standing by. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Wedge show up, doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't we already have a? What was it? Antilles showed up. What, into episode 3, right? He got the droids?
Organa? Yeah.
No, not Organa. Wasn't there an Antilles?
Captain Antilles, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not the same as Wedge.
Yeah, that wasn't Wedge, though, but it wasn't Antilles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's already Antilles been mentioned there, so, I mean, they could be running around doing stuff now.
Honestly,
I guess, right?
I mean, I think it's all well and good of what if we see that, but I think we're going to see some seeds of Rogue One, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't think that any Rebels references will happen in Rogue One, but I think Rogue One references will happen in Rebels. Kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm waiting for, because that would just be awesome.
I don't know how to pronounce this. It's like written in Russian. I don't speak Russian.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, this right here, this guy said this.
This guy. I can't read
an
it.
idiot if it's not Russian.
It might not. It could be, I don't know, Czech or I don't know. I don't know what it is. Anyway, do you think that Ahsoka might tell Rex about Darth Vader's true identity? He is the closest friend that she's got right now, who also was a friend of Anakin's. Ahsoka does know, like she sensed that it's Anakin,
definitely.
right?
Well, she senses that it's him. Maybe I think
she wants to do some more, because she even said, I want to have some questions answered of my own.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she knows it's him, but I think she wants to investigate a little bit before she goes
running
her mouth,
doesn't want to
shit.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to believe that it's him. But she knows it's him.
I mean, Bail Organa knows too, doesn't he?
Yes. He knows. Well, he knows that Anakin was gone. He knows that he was called Darth Vader.
Does he know they're the same though, or no?
He knows in the books. Like, they aren't canon anymore.
I think he knows. He never told Leia, though.
He knows in Rise of Lord Vader.
He knows.
Okay. I feel like he has to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he knows. I think Tarkin might know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because remember he says, like, you were the only thing
I think,
left
Tarkin does know, because it talks about it in his new book.
It'd be interesting if she told Rex. Maybe that would be Rex finds out, then he goes pursuing Maybe Rex and Ahsoka go after Vader, trying to turn him back, and they both die.
I think that with the amount of times that he talks about Anakin, I don't think she'll have the heart to tell him.
Yeah.
I think that she'll let him go with the good feelings of Anakin Skywalker, and not the bad feelings of Darth Vader.
Very true.
Yep.
Oh, he's from Europe, Macedonia.
Macedonia.
I don't know where.
Macedonia?
Macedonia? Macedonia?
Big Macedonia.
Macedonia? All right. Last question we have for the Q&A is from Khalid Ali.
Khaleesi.
No,
Sure.
just Khalid Ali.
Sure. Khalid.
Ali.
Sup, dudes? Tickets
Sup?
booked for opening night.
No.
We haven't
Because we live in an area that it's not going to sell out for definitely not a month before.
No, maybe a couple weeks before.
Yeah, we got some time. We got a bunch of different theater options that we can do too.
Yeah, I'm actually looking to talk to the local theater and see if we can like have a little event that maybe we can do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
We can have like our Kylo Ren stuff going on there
Yeah.
and like show off some saber stuff
And you guys can see that because we'll probably film it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. All right, guys, that was like the end of the questions for Rebels this week. So make sure you turn in tonight for episode 3 of the Clone Wars. I believe it is called Only Two There Are, which I think is going to be talking about our 2 new Inquisitors. So I'm interested to get into some Inquisitor stuff. I'm interested to see if Rex is still around.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you guys are coming back early morning the next day. I'm not sure exactly when I can get it all done because we have a couple more shows to do that night too. So that's one of our busy days. So we'll have it up as soon as we can for you. Come back the next morning. You'll be able to watch us react to Star Wars Rebels. All right. So we'll see you guys later. I'm Eric.
I'm Shane.
I'm Aaron.
Hit the button, Shane.